Hey guys, welcome back to another one of these segments of K. Job's Views. Please ignore my extremely wrinkled shirt. I went to lay down after doing one of these videos, and then I was like, why am I laying down? I still have more books and movies to talk about, right? So here I am. As always, like, comment, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend about me, and let's get started. So this clip is going to be about, well, it's going to be two-part. The book that I'm going to talk about is Lady Sings the Blues. And then the movie I'm going to talk about is the United States versus Billie Holiday. Now, I must emphasize that Lady Sings the Blues is Billie Holiday's autobiography that she co-wrote with William Duffy way back in the day. The 1972 Diana Ross film Lady Sings the Blues, same name as the book, is based off that book. Now, United States versus Billie Holiday, although about the same singer, and although supposed to be a biographical account, she's dead. May she rest in peace. Although that's supposed to be a biographical account, it is not a sequel and or a remake to Lady Sings the Blues, which was supposed to be the film adaptation of the autobiography Lady Sings the Blues. All right, got that out the way, right? So let's get some light in this joint. All right, so Lady Sings the Blues, the autobiography originally published in 1956 when Billie Holiday was, of course, still with us. Anyone who's a Billie Holiday fan, you should have already read this book, quite honestly. And if you haven't, do yourself a favor and read this book. Billie Holiday's life, needless to say, was a lot. It was a hard life. She was her mother was like a kind of like I think they're called madams, but it was like a madam of a whorehouse. Actually, you know what? Her story reminds me of Richard Pryor in that sense. She kind of grew up in an area where it was just drugs and prostitutes, and was her family life as well. As a result, she kind of grew up chasing men to some extent, or kind of always being reliant on them while feeling like she didn't need them. And you can get that tone when you read her book. I read this book a few years ago, so you'll excuse me if some of the details aren't as clear as others. But you get that tone when you're reading the book that she definitely was one of these, she was very independent, but codependent at the same time, and it is, I think it's clear that it's from childhood traumas, and she brings it up as much as possible in her autobiography. She also had a lot of problems with smoking crack cocaine and drug use, which was a big part of the United States versus Billie Holiday. I never seen Lady Sings the Blues, by the way, so I don't actually know about Diana Ross's performance in that. But I mean, everyone says it's an amazing movie. I'm sure it's an amazing movie. In the book, though, that is very predominant. She does talk a lot about drug use. She talks a lot about the police in general always coming after her, and really trying to use that to get her. In a couple instances, she's kind of set up by those around her so that she could get pinched. I love to just throw myself into these time frames, so that she could get arrested by the police, or the FBI, actually, more accurately. And she served time in this women's prison upstate, and it was also like a mental facility. And through it all, she kept singing. She kept singing, and she always had this soulful voice. What the movie does talk more about, that is a part of the book, is this whole thing with the painted tree, the strange fruit. There we go. It's like poplar tree. I was thinking of the lyrics instead of the song title. The strange fruit. So let's use that to transition into the movie, right? So in the book, she talks about a song called Strange Fruit, which is, if you've been living under a rock, is a song about the lynching of slaves, is about the lynching of black people, and how you would just look up and see these trees and this strange fruit hanging from them, dripping blood and smelling of death and decay, while creating flowers or all these other fruits around them. So the song was very visually descriptive, very well received, critically well received, I guess. But it obviously got Billie into a lot of trouble because, as it is today, white people still very often don't like to be reminded of how horrible and all the atrocities they've committed throughout the ages, right? So the movie United States versus Billie Holiday is Lee Daniels, Andra Day, William, what is my man's name? The guy from Everybody Hates Chris. William Tyler James, I believe is his name. And who else is in this movie? That's all I could think of right now. Oh, Trevante Rhodes. How could I forget? Trevante Rhodes is in this movie as well. So, the movie more so is about the FBI going after Billie Holiday. It kind of skips all the early part of her life, and it's more about the FBI trying to go after Billie Holiday because she keeps singing the damn Strange Fruit song, which the FBI is like, this gets black people riled up. You know, we don't want them hearing about the lynching. It always amazes me, even to this day, how much white people or the establishment or governments in general want to tailor what we hear, but still commit the atrocities. Why don't you just stop lynching people and then we wouldn't sing about it? Why don't you stop killing black people and we'll stop marching? Like, there's a very simple solution. Instead of controlling crowd response, control your own fucking actions. But anyways, so so the movie, for what it's worth, I love the movie. I love the movie, however, because Anja Day does an amazing job, as she's been well awarded this award season for the movie, which you could catch on Hulu. Sorry, it was released on Hulu back in February 2021. She has received so many accolades for her performance, and she gives an amazing performance. However, because this movie wasn't based on the book and is kind of just based on a part of the book or a story that was transformative in Miss Holiday's career, it doesn't really have a lot of focus, to be quite honest. Like, the movie itself, like, it covers a part of her life, but it doesn't, you're not really brought up to date to her history. You don't really get a lot of the after. You don't know who a lot of the players are. You don't even know what inspired her to sing the song, which was part of the book. And I don't really know why that wasn't part of the movie when you're making the movie so focused on one thing. But that aside, again, the movie's great for the acting. The movie is great because you get to hear the song Strange Fruit. You will see a lot of drug use in this movie. So if you're uncomfortable watching people shoot up, you're going to probably be uncomfortable for parts of this movie because they shoot up a lot. There is one actual lynching scene, as a spoiler. There is one actual lynching scene in this movie. It's not super graphic. You don't see the actual I don't know if you could ing that, right? I mean, like, ed it, right? You don't see the lynching, you just see the lynched. Is that a thing? Anyways, so those parts aside, the drug use and the one lynch, the movie's great. Like I said, it just kind of lacks focus in story line, I guess, because again, they didn't want to remake the old movie and it didn't follow the biography exactly. So, but it's really good. You get to see who they have playing Louis Armstrong. You get to see her role with men, and that the movie does do a good job playing with, showing how abusive a lot of relationships were that she was in, how she would get set up to get pinched, to get caught up by the FBI. So it does do a good job with that. It's a great movie. You'll enjoy the movie. I think you'll enjoy the movie. I will just say, again, you'll enjoy it more so for the acting. The story line doesn't have as much focus as I would have liked. But again, I'm a Billie Holiday lover. I read her autobiography So I imagine if you don't know Billie Holiday that well, you're going to be completely fine with this. There's going to be no problems. You'll enjoy it. You'll feel informed. You will have learned something, and not as much as you needed to know because you don't really care for Billie Holiday. So that is my review on Lady Sings the Blues. If you're a Billie Holiday fan, should have already read it. If not, do yourself a service and read this book. United States versus Billie Holiday. I think anyone will like it. I gave you your trigger warnings. And I think it'll probably play better for people who are not hardcore fans of Billie Holiday. Because like I said, the story really does kind of lack direction. Other than that, I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this. As always, like, comment, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend about me. And I promise I will start ironing my clothes better before these reviews. Thank you again for joining me, and I'll see you guys on the next flick.